Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician. Today we're going to be going back into the Amazon tool deals and checking out the items that I've found for the week. These are either going to be items that I find that are on sale, items that even at their full price or list price I believe to be good deals, or items that I find interesting and would like your guys' input on if you guys have used them. Also keep in mind each one of these items that we go over today will be linked down in the description for you guys with their own independent link, and then I'll have two additional links that say tools and tools continued. Those are going to take you to a long list of tools that I've went over in the past or other tools that I suggest. So that's all there for you guys. First up on today's list is the Wera Craftform Compact. This is the 7-in-1 bit holding screwdriver, and it has the removable blade, as you can see up top here. There up top you can kind of see the extendable blade, and then inside you do get some bits. And Wera is a brand that I've used quite a bit. I don't have a whole lot of their tools, but I have a decent selection, a handful of items, and I've really enjoyed their standard screwdrivers are fantastic. I like the handle shape, I like the quality, I like the features, and so if you're a fan of this kind of handle design, I think this is a good multi-bit little setup. Here's everything that's included in the kit, and they do have different variations, and they get quite large as well, but they do get quite expensive as well. This is one of the more affordable sets. If you're looking for something a little bit more affordable that still includes a decent amount of little bits and a pretty versatile little screwdriver, I think this is a good one. There you can see the pouch that it comes in. This has 4.6 stars at 2,883 ratings. Now keep in mind that is all four of these sets combined, which here you can see this one just includes the Klein impact driver, basically flip socket bits. Then you have the same set with a much larger bit assortment included, which is a really nice bit assortment, but that one climbs up to $70. And then you have the miniature screwdriver. These are non-ratcheting. This also includes bits in the handle and a little carousel, and I really like that design. This one, $54. I think that is a good deal as well. But just this set here is at $30.80, down from a typical price of basically $35. Either way, at $35 or this $30, I think it's a fantastic deal if you're looking for something like this. Here's just a little bit of information on it. Not a whole lot of, details. Here you can see they have a couple larger sets with interchangeable longer bits if you're looking for something a little bit different. Instead of using that extension bit with smaller bits, you could just get something like this, but it's all personal preference. But that is the first item on today's list. Next up, we are looking at the Knipex 7421-200. These are the 8-inch high leverage angle diagonal side cutters, and this has 4.8 stars at 1,403 ratings. Also, once again, keep in mind that is a combination rating for all of these different items that they have linked here, the different sizes and different ones available. This is at $29 basically, down from a list price of $56.10. I want to say you normally see this around the $30 to $35 price range. So $29, great deal, especially if you're looking for a good quality set. I have probably 20 different pairs of Knipex pliers, and I highly recommend all of them. I haven't been disappointed by any of the Knipex tools that I own, so if I ever have an issue with one of them, I'll definitely let you guys know. But I've had all of them for at least 2 to 6 years, and they've all held up very well. Some get used quite often, some, depending on its styles, aren't something that I use all the time, but all of them do a very good job on what they're designed to do. Knipex, made in Germany, just a lot of good engineering goes into these, good quality, and definitely well worth the price, especially when you find them on sale, especially like these twin grips here. They started out when they first released them, I want to say $34 to $36, and now you can catch them as low as, I want to say $26, $27, which is amazing. But I've went over those quite a few times. If I ever find even better deals on them, I'll make sure to let you guys know. Here's just a little bit of information on these diagonal side cutters. Next up, we're going into a lug crimper. This is one style that I have. I'll show you the other style depending on the type of work that you do, that you'll find yourself, depending on the situation you find yourself in the most. Now, this is just the style that I recommend. I don't have this specific one. I thought this one was priced really well for what's included. Not only do you get the crimper, but you get some different size lugs as well as heat shrink, which is a nice addition, but it's really hard to mess up the quality on this. It's literally a spring-loaded striker pin in basically a brace that's going to crimp the lug. This does have 5 stars at 1 rating, so not a whole lot, but there are a lot of, back in the day when I originally purchased mine, there weren't a whole lot of brands selling these. There was probably 2 or 3. Now everybody and their mother that you've never heard of sells this style of crimper, all basically the same ones coming from the same factory. Like, here's another one. You're just going to get the crimper for just under $14. It does have 4.5 stars at 1,451 ratings. So this is going to be the exact same unit, but you're going to get some lugs. I'll just kind of go through the photos real quickly. There you can see what's included as far as the lug sizes and the heat shrink size, and then the size of the actual lug crimper itself. The crimpers are made of steel and are strong enough to last years of maintenance-free use. The crimping tool can be easily used by both a novice and experienced user. Yeah, you're basically just putting your lug and cable in here and striking it with a hammer. So where these are useful is when you're basically building your circuit or whatnot outside of the vehicle, or if you have enough cable ran through the vehicle that you can bring the cable down to the ground. Because you have to strike this style of lug crimper with a hammer, this isn't going to be something that you do in the vehicle, because you're going to damage whatever you're setting this on. So this is something that you want to take out and set on a workbench, or a solid workbench, or set on a concrete floor and then crimp your lug. So if you're doing a lot of in-vehicle work, that's where the next style is going to be a little bit more handy for you. There you can kind of see how to use it. It's pretty common sense, but they work very well. I've had mine for probably 5 years, and it's done extremely well, and it's a very affordable way to be able to work with those larger lugs, because a lot of the times you have a wire stripper and crimper, and those are made for your smaller butt connectors and things like that, not necessarily 1/0 or anything that large. So a lot of people will either try and use a hammer and punch, or they'll try to crush it with a pair of pliers, and a lot of the times you just end up mutilating the thing, and then you don't get a good crimp on that lug. So you run into a lot of issues, where this is good for a lot of those larger size cables. So this is just one route I recommend. Keep in mind, you don't specifically have to go with this one. There's 100 different ones on Amazon that are almost identical. But then there's also another variation that I've used quite often, and that being this style here. There is another one, the hydraulic one, but I haven't personally used that one. And even though I do a decent amount, I didn't really need to spend that type of money. I want to say those usually range anywhere from $45 to $100 and some dollars. So these 2 styles have gotten me through any and all of the larger lugs that I've needed to crimp. But these are really handy when you're working in the vehicle and you can't be striking that other style of crimper. This allows you to crimp them in a little bit tighter spaces without any striking or anything like that. This set specifically is from Vevor, and this is good for a 1/0 cable, or up to a 1/0 cable, and as small as a 10 gauge. It comes with 100-piece heat shrink tubes and also some copper lugs. And then you get a fantastic set of gloves, and then the crimper itself. So I do like these. Cable cutters are not going to be the highest end, but it's better than trying to use like diagonal side cutters or something along those lines, and then you end up kind of just butchering the cable. Even though these are cheap, it's going to work a lot better than basically all of your other pliers that you may attempt to use. Maybe some larger lineman pliers might do a decent job, but even though these are cheap and not the highest quality cutters, they're going to do a good enough job to cut through your 1/0 cable. Once again, just like the previous set that we looked at, the previous style crimper, these crimping pliers here are going to be sold by 100 different brands on Amazon. Same thing. Some of them may have the chrome plated dials here, or the dies where you adjust. If you look at this portion here, these actually are spring loaded. You push this spring button in, and then you can turn these dies, and that's going to adjust for what size of lug that you're working with. And some of them may be the black phosphate finish. They may be, just the black in color, or some of them may be, chromed like this. Not a difference. Other than that, there's 100 different brands selling these exact same crimping pliers, so it's really up to you. I included this one because it included quite a bit. It included the heat shrink, the lugs, the cutters, not necessarily the gloves, and the crimper itself. But I'll show you another set if you're not looking to get all of that other stuff with it. So here you can see their dies are labeled a little bit different, but they do work for 10 gauge all the way to 1, and actually on another portion it says it works for 1/0. Basically you have a conversion chart here, whereas the other style that we look at, you'll see that it's already converted to the American wire gauge sizes. But overall, I've had a style just like this for probably 3 years, and they've done very well, especially when I've needed to do the crimping in the vehicle instead of being able to work with it outside the vehicle. This one has 5 stars at 2 ratings, so not a whole lot. This one is $30, and you do have a 5% coupon available. But then there is this other one that is just going to include the crimpers, the cutters, another set of gloves, and basically a little carrying pouch. And this is what mine came in as well. So here you can see it's already been converted. The dial, you got 1/0, 8, 6, 4, 2, and 1. And both styles, this and the hammer crimper that I showed you before, get a nice solid crimp. They're different styles of crimps, where this is kind of compressing 4 sides of the lug. The other one is basically V'ing out the bottom and putting a dimple directly into that V from the top, and both of them create a nice solid crimp. This one has 4.6 stars at 480 ratings, so reviewed quite a bit more, but same price. You're just not getting the heat shrink and the lugs included in this set. But once again, the same style, built the same way, same adjustments. The dial conversion or the die size are converted already. Either way, it's pretty easy to figure out which one's going to crimp your lug and which one's not going to. But I think both are a good option. And once again, there are many other brands. You can also get the lugs and heat shrink for quite cheap as well. And then here's kind of the hydraulic version that I was talking about earlier. But that's it as far as this week's Amazon tool deals. 2 crimpers that can really help you out if you deal with any of the larger cables and you're tired of trying to make it work with just the pliers and items that you have around the shop. These are a very affordable way to make your life a lot less of a headache when dealing with these. And I really hope you guys enjoyed the other items as well. Once again, they'll all be linked down in the description. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below of your guys' thoughts on these items. And as always, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and I'll see you guys next time.